Education shapes minds, but who decides what we learn? For centuries, the way knowledge is passed down. Ancient philosophers saw education as a path to wisdom. Industrial age leaders shaped it into a system designed to prepare workers for the demands of a growing economy. Today, in an era of rapid technological change, the very foundations of learning are shifting beneath our feet. But as education evolves, one question remains. Is it truly empowering us, or merely guiding us toward a predetermined future? Think about the structure of the modern classroom. Rows of desks, standardized lessons, memorization over exploration. This design wasn't accidental, it was engineered. In the 19th century, as factories expanded and economies industrialized, education was reshaped to serve a new purpose, creating disciplined, punctual workers who followed instructions. Over time, the justification changed, but the model persisted. Even today, many classrooms still resemble their 19th century predecessors. But is that structure preparing students for the world of tomorrow? The digital revolution has cracked open the rigid walls of traditional schooling. Information is no longer confined to textbooks and lecture halls. It's accessible everywhere, instantly. Anyone with an internet connection can learn quantum physics, philosophy, or computer science from world-class experts. And yet, despite this unprecedented access to knowledge, a paradox remains. Why, with more information than ever, do so many people feel less equipped to think for themselves? Education, after all, is not just about what is taught. It's about what is left out. Official curricula reflect the priorities of governments, institutions, and increasingly private corporations. Who decides which historical events are emphasized and which are barely mentioned? Who determines which scientific theories are foundational and which are dismissed? These decisions shape not only what students learn, but how they interpret the world. If knowledge is power, then control over education is control over the future. But what happens when this control shifts hands? For most of modern history, governments and academic institutions have held the keys to education. Today, that power is slipping into the hands of something else entirely: algorithms. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, and digital platforms are quietly reshaping how knowledge is delivered. But if AI can determine what students see, absorb, and prioritize, then we must ask, who is programming the programmers? If education has always been shaped by external forces, who is shaping it now, and for what purpose? The way we learn is no longer confined to classrooms and textbooks. Across the world, artificial intelligence is transforming education, promising personalized, adaptive learning tailored to each student's unique needs. No more rigid curriculums, no more one-size-fits-all lessons. Instead, AI-driven platforms analyze performance in real time, adjusting material to match a student's pace and preferences. The vision is compelling, a future where no one is left behind, where every learner has a private tutor, as intelligent as the greatest human educators. But technology is never neutral. AI systems are designed by people, trained on data that reflects human priorities, biases, and omissions. While an AI tutor can optimize learning efficiency, can it truly teach students how to think critically, question authority, or challenge dominant narratives? If algorithms determine what knowledge is most relevant, do they also shape how entire generations perceive reality? Consider the role of big tech in education. Companies like Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI are investing billions into AI-powered learning tools, integrating them into school systems worldwide. These platforms offer unprecedented access to information, but they also act as gatekeepers, deciding what students see, how they engage with content, and even how they interact with one another. In China, AI-powered classrooms already monitor students' focus levels using facial recognition, tracking attention and engagement in real time. Proponents argue that this technology helps teachers identify struggling students before they fall behind. But critics warn of a different consequence: a system where education is not just personalized, but surveilled and controlled. And it's not just happening in China. Around the world, adaptive learning systems use hidden algorithms to shape students' academic paths, often without their knowledge. Two students searching the same historical event may receive subtly different perspectives, based on their past interactions. Over time, this personalization can create invisible intellectual bubbles, reinforcing certain viewpoints while filtering out others. If social media algorithms can already shape public opinion through selective exposure, what happens when the same mechanisms guide the education of future generations? The promise of AI-driven education is undeniable. A world where every student, regardless of background, has access to high-quality, Individualized instruction could revolutionize learning. But at what cost? If artificial intelligence becomes the silent architect of knowledge, do we risk outsourcing not just education, but independent thought itself? If AI can now decide what and how we learn, could it also shape how we think? An AI tutor never gets tired. It doesn't lose patience, show bias, or forget important details. It can analyze a student's weaknesses instantly, tailor lessons to individual needs, and adapt in real time. In theory, this creates the perfect learning environment, one where knowledge is precise, optimized, and free from human error. But beneath this promise lies a more unsettling reality. If AI can decide the most efficient way to learn, does it also decide what is worth learning? Algorithms don't operate in a vacuum. They reflect the priorities of those who design them. And in doing so, they can shape the very nature of knowledge itself. Imagine a history lesson generated by an AI trained on selective data. It wouldn't lie outright, but it might highlight certain perspectives while downplaying others. Two students, studying the same event, could be fed subtly different narratives, customized to their prior interests and search habits. Over time, their worldviews could diverge, not by conscious choice, but by invisible algorithmic design. This isn't speculation. We already live in a world shaped by algorithmic filtering. News feeds prioritize engagement over accuracy. Search engines return results tailored to user profiles. Social media platforms create ideological echo chambers, reinforcing beliefs rather than challenging them. If AI-driven education follows the same pattern, will students be learning, or will they be programmed? And there's another question. Education has always been a tool of socialization, teaching not just facts, but values. In a world where AI optimizes learning for efficiency, what happens to the messy, unpredictable aspects of human thought? The moments of doubt, of questioning, of contradiction? The very qualities that drive innovation and creativity could be seen as inefficiencies, smoothed away by a system designed for streamlined progress. What begins as personalization could become restriction. If a student struggles with abstract thinking, will an AI decide that they should focus on practical skills instead? If another excels at math, but shows little interest in literature, will the system quietly deprioritize critical reading? Over time, would the diversity of thought that defines human progress begin to shrink? The classroom of the future may be limitless, but that does not mean it will be free. If education is becoming increasingly automated, where does that leave human teachers? A world where AI dominates education raises a profound question. What happens to human teachers? For centuries, the role of an educator has been more than just delivering information. Teachers inspire, challenge, and adapt in ways no algorithm can fully replicate. They recognize the unspoken struggles of a student falling behind, the creative spark hidden beneath unconventional thinking, the quiet defiance of a mind questioning authority. No AI, no matter how advanced, can truly replace the human capacity for empathy, intuition, and moral guidance. But if AI-driven education continues to expand, will teachers be reduced to little more than classroom supervisors, enforcing a system designed by machines? Some argue that automation will liberate educators from administrative burdens, allowing them to focus on mentorship and creative teaching. Others warn that as AI becomes the primary source of knowledge, the teacher's role could erode altogether. In some schools, algorithms already grade essays, track student progress, and even predict future performance. But when learning is reduced to data points, what is lost? Can creativity, ethical reasoning, and critical thought be measured, let alone taught, by an AI? And then there's the question of authority. If AI determines what is taught, how it is taught, and how success is measured, who ultimately holds the power in education? Governments? Corporations? A handful of engineers designing the algorithms? The danger isn't just in the technology itself, but in who controls it. A world where AI dictates education is a world where the architects of that AI shape the future of human thought. Yet, there is another possibility. What if, instead of replacing teachers, technology enhances their role? Imagine a hybrid system where AI provides efficiency, but human educators remain the guiding force. In this vision, teachers wouldn't be replaced, but empowered, free to focus on the deeper, more human aspects of learning. But is this the future we are heading toward? Or will the push for efficiency, optimization, and cost-cutting drive education further into the hands of machines? If AI is reshaping the classroom, is it also reshaping what it means to be educated? The future of education stands at a crossroads. On one path, an optimized hyper-efficient system powered by artificial intelligence, one that personalizes learning, maximizes performance, and eliminates inefficiencies. On the other, a world where human educators remain central, ensuring that learning remains not just about knowledge, but about wisdom, creativity, and critical thought. The choice may not be as simple as one or the other. Hybrid models already exist, blending AI-driven instruction with human guidance. Some see this as the best of both worlds, where technology enhances learning without stripping away the human element. Others warn that once AI becomes an integral part of education, the temptation to further automate, to prioritize efficiency over depth, will only grow stronger. At what point does technology stop serving education and start controlling it? And beyond the classroom, the consequences ripple outward. A generation raised in AI-driven learning environments may think differently, process information differently, even question authority differently. Will this new system foster independent thought, or will it shape minds to fit predefined narratives? Will it empower, or will it subtly indoctrinate? Perhaps the real question isn't whether AI will take over education, but whether we are prepared for the kind of society it will create. Because in the end, education is not just about what we learn, it's about who we become. So as we stand on the edge of this transformation, the question remains, are we designing the future of education, or is it designing us? This video has come to an end, but the discovery continues. Check out more content on the channel and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thank you for watching.